I'm doing a different kind of a reading today. I'm going to pull a card from each of these decks. I've already cleared and shuffled them. I've tuned into the community of possible people who may find this reading and resonate with it. The card of the question is starting here with this deck. And it's the Nine of Swords. 9 is the card of completion. So something's just ended. There's some grief and sense of loss over it. However, there's a knowing that with all endings comes new beginnings. And so here in the circle, all around are candles, and this is a ceremony. This is a purposeful letting go, and it comes just at the end of winter. The next card I'm going to pull is from this deck, and it's Gaia's Garden. So this is a remembering that, and this is a very Pluto energy too, which is what so many are going through right now. With an ending, there's always a new beautiful beginning, right? So my astrologer used to tell me Pluto will burn down the fields just to let it regenerate and for good crop rotation. So that's Pluto. That's that energy we're experiencing. So we have this ending, these feelings of loss, but it's all fertilizing the soil with this person's intentions of what they're going to do with everything that they learned in that cycle. They're going to take that and they're going to go and create with it. So this is abundance, reaping what you sow. It's fertility. It's everything that you want to create. You now have been set free or about to be set free. It's a choice from this energy that was no longer working or coming to its natural end. And you're going to be able to harness this energy. The numbers so far are 9 and 18 for my number people. Next card is the Goddess Oracle. This is Bridget, the goddess of inspiration. She's a poet. She's the keeper of the flame. She's associated with fire, and we've just had this Aries new moon. She was a healer. She's holding herbs in this picture and her harp. She's also often associated with metalworking and forging with metal. That's part of the fire element. So Bridget is the goddess that's overseeing this transformation. And this is her in her 3 phases, because we know we begin as a maiden, go to a mother, and then a crone. There's 3 possibilities in our lives that we move through, just like we're moving through a loss or an ending and then a new beginning. Bridget. We just celebrated Bridget on February 1st, and for the first time in, I don't know, hundreds of years, I'd have to look it up, Bridget became a national holiday in Ireland. So it was a big resurgence of the goddess energy. The next card is the goddess Air, and here she is working with herbs. So this is the second card that we've had regarding specifically healing. She's working with the mortar and pestle here, and she's creating some kind of potion or healing product to be used. So bring that into your consciousness. That's, for some of us, we need to be working with plants energy a little bit more, or healing energy a little bit more. And maybe from the beginning of growing it in Gaia's Garden, and then pulling it to use, choosing it to be used, and then mixing and actually using it. It feels like that whole cycle is being called into being. The next deck I'm going to pull from, we've got Ceremony. So this really goes with this card, because this is a ceremony. This is an intentional placement, and numbering of the losses, 9 of them, and a letting go and a processing of that energy. And this ceremony is now inviting in. So this one is letting go, and this one is for manifesting. And this is with words too. Invocation, well, with words or with energy. You can do an invocation with just movement or sound, right? But with words, you can bring into being the transformation that you want. And that's represented here by the snake. That's a transformational healing energy. We have a candle here, and I think another one in the back. They're both red. So that's a symbol of courage. And she's working with crystals, and they're all on a mat, and she's got them in a certain shape. So she is creating a ceremony with light, with courage, with transformation to manifest what it is that she's wanting to call in. And you can see all this energy right here is coming down into her from the universe and coming in through her crown. Next card is Datura stramonium. So this is a herb that is actually poisonous, but it has been used in indigenous cultures to as a ceremonial herb, a hallucinogen, and you vomit when you take it. So some of the words on here are purge and purification, but also awakening. So by purging and releasing, sometimes in a forceful or unexpected way, we are then awakened. So this is another herb being introduced in here, and one specifically used purposely for cleansing and awakening. And it brings that energy. And this is your wake-up call. Let's see what it's got for us today. Fuck yes, I am. Fuck yes, I am. And that is the reading for today. So I'm going to sum it up. We've just come to an end point, a completion of a cycle. There is some loss, feeling of loss that's being processed very purposefully here. And symbolized by the collection of each of the swords, each one representing a loss. Being put in the circle, this shows that there was appreciation and gratitude for what the losses were. So let's say they were, people fighting on the other ends of those swords. This is grief for the loss, but it's also the end of a cycle, and that's why she's celebrating with those candles. So that's what the whole reading's about. And it's like, that's normal. That's part of life. That's how nature works, right? There is a great cycle. And at the end of this one, then is the beginning of the next one. And this reading is infused with growing and green kinds of energy, right? We've got the garden, and we've got Bridget with dandelion, it looks like she's holding, and Ear, who is mixing it up and using it purposely for healing and transformational properties in a ceremony. So doing it in ceremony, this just lends to something this would have been used in ceremony. So that goes with that. And yes, you are. Affirm yourself in your process. And that is the end of today's reading. I have a workshop coming up. It's an hour long. It's free webinar if you're vibing with it. It's 10 things magical manifestors do. You can get to know me a little bit. I can get to know you and walk away with 10 really good tips, things that you can use immediately and have a good time. Hope to see you there. willow-tucker.com.